Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders, depending on the time that you're watching this video. This is Ed FX Trader for another video. And I wanted to quickly come on here and I want to make a prediction. And that prediction has to do with the New Zealand dollar. And I truly believe that the markets are lining up, especially we're in March, where the setups normally take place in preparation for April, May, which are generally known as the months where the markets move drastically, right? Once you can get direction right, the markets will just move for 2 to 3 months once you can get the direction right. So we are approaching the month of April. So we want to look now at what the setups are. Now, as I said, this is going to be focusing on the New Zealand dollar. So I'm going to just quickly be looking at the New Zealand crosses. And I'm going to start off with the New Zealand Swiss franc. Now, as you can see here, I've already done this. The market is at historical lows. And every time the market comes down to these levels, it rallies, and we're talking about major rallies. We're talking about this rally was upward of 2,000 pips. We could be talking about upwards of 2,000 pips. From here, definitely over 1,000 pips. Every time the market comes to this region, it rallies. So from here, it goes straight up. From here, it goes straight up. From here it goes straight up. Now we are at that point again. Now what this really is that it's historical lows. The market is at historical lows. Now I'm not exactly calling the bottom because as you can see it varies from time to time, but we are in that general region. Now the market could go further down, because if I remove this here and you look, let me just remove this, you will see that there is absolutely reason for it that it could go further down. So if I were to put in a horizontal ray here, and let's just touch right there, then we could see that if the market wants to go exactly down this region, it could go exactly down this region. But what is evident is that we are at historical lows. The market is at historical lows. Now, I'm not, as I said, exactly calling the bottom. I do not know where the bottom is, but we are in that region that sets up for a rally. So in this case, for the New Zealand Swiss franc, we will look to buy. So we are buying New Zealand in this case. And next currency pair, the New Zealand US dollar. I already have the trend line here, but as far back as November of 2000, right? That is 10 years, okay, almost 10 years. This angle of support, this trend line, has been holding. And every time the market comes to this angle, the market pushes up. The most recent time that it did this was just in October of last year. That the market came around this region and it rallied. Okay? So price is at a trend line support that it has history of rallying from. It rallied in September to December 2019. And it has come back down to retest. Hence, it will give us an opportunity to buy again. It can do this several times before the major rally occurs. Worst case scenario, the market will break through. But what are the chances of the market breaking through? Well, we will see. But we are at that support. So this, again, will tell us that we will look to buy the New Zealand dollar, buy the New Zealand dollar, sell the US dollar. So we're looking to buy New Zealand dollar, because remember, when we trade currency pairs, we are buying or selling the base pair. Okay, so if I buy New Zealand, I am selling US dollar. New Zealand is the base pair. So we are looking to buy the New Zealand US dollar. Taking a look at another New Zealand cross. This is the pound New Zealand dollar. Now, I really love this pair. Now, I'm going to analyze this quickly and show you. In this case, because we are looking at the New Zealand dollar, we'll be looking to sell the pound in New Zealand, because if I sell the pound New Zealand, I'm selling pound and I am buying New Zealand. So when I look at this, all I'm going to do is take my trend line and I'm going to look for angles. If I can find angles that the market have history of support and resistance, that is all I am doing. So if I take this trend line here, you will see that the market has history. Needed to see this. The market has history of going up in and around this region, and it also has history where it acted as support, but then support becomes resistance, and we are right at that point right now. So the question then is, do you believe that the market will push down from this angle of resistance? Because that is what it's going to come down to. And this is what we believe, that we have an opportunity here to sell the pound New Zealand. Okay, if I look at this at the weekly time frame, I want to show you something. I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to clear the screen because there's also on the weekly time frame what is lining up to be a harmonic pattern. Okay, there is a harmonic pattern that really clearly seems to be lining up here, and so we want to look at it. Now when we look at this, let me just bring this in here so you can clearly see. Okay, right there. Oh, I wanted to point out the support and resistance. Let me do that as well. Here is another. Here is the market. This was support, and that has acted as resistance, and we are right at that point again. So it's a matter of whether we believe whether or not this market is going to act as another era that pushes the market down. This is where we're at. Okay, so you could say that this is a triple top. There's a top there, a top there, a top there. Every time the market came here in 2018, it came here and it fell. Then in October of 2019, it came there and it fell, and we're right at that point again. Do you believe that the market will push down from this point? That is what it comes down to, a matter of belief. Okay, so we're going to expect this market. I am looking and I'm expecting this market to push down, to give me a sell. Right? That is what I'm going to expect this market to do. Further to this, there are confluence of resistance here. That is what we are faced with. Let me show you again. This was the first angle that I drew. Let me just draw it again. If you look right here, so there's a confluence of resistance. Okay, there's a confluence of resistance. If I said support before, and that was an error. There's a confluence of resistance. We're hitting multiple areas of resistance. Further to this, what is also exciting about this is we are very high. We are at a high price. Okay, that the market has rallied all the way from this bottom. It has rallied all the way up. So we are at that angle again. And now you have to believe in support and resistance, because in last year the market was at this angle. The market was at this angle of support, and that has been pushing the market up, and it pushed the market straight up. Okay, so we are at that. The market respects support and resistance. So it is very important that we identify these levels and trust these levels. So that's another setup, okay, that the market could use. Further to that, we have another angle here. If we use this angle from here, support, support, resistance, 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 resistance. So, right? So we are clearly seeing that there is reason for the market to fall from this area. We go to another New Zealand cross, the Euro New Zealand dollar. When I look at this, and all I'm going to do is put a horizontal line right where the market is at. And you tell me, what does the market tend to do when it is at this level? It falls. The market has history of consistently falling at this level. It fell there, it fell there. We are testing that area right now. Okay? If you go back, you will actually realize that this is an area of U-turn, that whenever the market tends to come around this area, it tends to U-turn. It has history all the time of U-turning in and around this area. As far back as you can go, the market turned there, it turned there, it turned there, it turned right there, it turned right there. When it broke through that one time, it turned there, and from that point onwards, it has been turning. So we're going to look to sell the Euro New Zealand. Can we find more evidence? Okay, well, let's look at, where's another one? We did the pound, we did the Euro, New Zealand. Okay, let's look at the New Zealand CAD, the New Zealand Canadian dollar. And let's look if we can find any reason to believe that this market will turn. Once again, I'm just going to put in a horizontal line. I'm just going to put in a horizontal line. And the reason for that line is to see if the market U-turns at this line. And when we look at where price is at, we see history here, right? That the market tends to turn at this point. Pushed up there, it pushed up there. All right, let me just select this. It pushed up, we are right at that point, and it has already started to push up, okay? This market that acted as resistance here, resistance, right, is now acting as support, okay? So when we look at these things, we see reason to believe. Can we find another currency pair that shows that this may rally? Okay, let's see if we can look at the New Zealand Japanese yen. Let's look at it and let's see if we can find anything. This one is very easy to see. Okay, if you just put in a horizontal line and drop it right where price is at, there you go. It speaks for itself. Okay, this line has been acting as resistance. The market broke through, and then now this has become support. What I like about this market is that it likes to repeat itself. Okay, that's one of the things that I like about this market. It just rallied in September. September, October, November, December. 4 months of rallying. Then it came back down to test the area of support to see if any buyers are there. That's all it did, and has created for us a double bottom. Because of that, it gives us the opportunity, because I missed this rally. So it is now giving me the opportunity to get in again, okay, with this double bottom. So this is what we are looking, this is what we are expecting. Now, it's either that you're going to believe that the New Zealand dollar is going to rally, or you don't believe that it is going to rally. It's either that because of fear of the coronavirus, a lot of markets has been cutting their interest rates and stuff like that. So what we have to ask ourselves is that, do we believe that this will hold, right? Because it has gone further, right? It has gone through further. It has broken through right here, and it broke through when it was support over here. That was a break. And when it was resistance over here, it broke. So is this the time that it is going to break or not? Well, time will tell. Am I saying to jump in the markets now? No. What I am saying, though, is that look to buy. Look to buy. Have an entry strategy that you're going to use on the lower time frame and get in on the rally. Okay? If this market is going to move up, you don't want to miss it. What has further given me confidence, what has really further given me confidence is this. I want you to see something first. Do you see how for all the New Zealand crosses, let me go to the weekly time frame. Do you see that they pushed up and then they pushed down first? There was a major push up, then a major push down. There is a major push down, then a major push up for this. There's a major push down, then a major push up. For the new US, there's a major push up, then down. New Zealand, Swiss franc, there's a major push up, then down. Okay. One of the things that I've discovered, and I've really discovered this recently, is that we could have predicted this up and down move of the New Zealand dollar by looking at the New Zealand index as a whole, which comprises of the major world currency crosses that includes the New Zealand dollar. We can look at the futures, and had we done this, which is what I'm going to show you now, we could have predicted this entire thing with this one chart. This one chart could predict this entire movement. Now watch this carefully. All I have done, this was the push up that went straight up from support to resistance. So that same up, push, then down, up, push, then down, up, push, then down, up, push, then down was all a means of supporting this. Up, push, this is the New Zealand dollar futures, up, push, then the down push. And had we looked at this and had we known this, we could have predicted the rally going up, and now they all the retracing, the push down. And this has held, this has been holding, this has been holding for years. For years, we can trust this. It has been holding for years. Now, we are at the bottom or almost at the bottom, whichever it is. What do you believe that the market is going to do? And that is what it comes down to. This one chart tops it off for me, that the New Zealand dollar, we are going to look to see a rally in the New Zealand dollar. And we're going to buy New Zealand all the way to the top. In the same way, we could have bought it from here all the way to the top. And we could have sold it here to the bottom, sold it here to the bottom, sold it here down, sold it. Wow. This is the prediction. Get in on it. If you just want to trade two currency pairs, I will go for the pound New Zealand and the euro New Zealand. And the reason being is that they are the most volatile. So I will look to sell the euro New Zealand and I will look to sell the pound New Zealand. If you don't want to trade all the crosses, I would definitely go with those. They are the most volatile, right? Followed by the New Zealand yen, because it is at a perfect area of support, resistance, resistance, support. And so you can definitely begin to trade this. It's a matter of knowledge and insight. So this is Ed FX Trader. I just wanted to give you this prediction. I'm signing off and will keep you up to date with the results.